It's safe to say that bagging your car and putting it on air is probably one of the hottest mods you can do in 2018 right now. We're gonna go through AIRLIFT performance kits, talk about 3P, V2, 3H, and all the different components that you get inside a kit. Let's go check it out. Whoa, wait, stop. Whoa, hold on. Really? A 20-minute video? We just want to put a disclaimer out there that yes, it is a 20-minute video, and this video is for the person that is considering buying an AIRLIFT kit. This is not for you guys that have been rocking air, you know everything all about the kits. We want to make something a little more in-depth to show the average consumer, if you want to learn about AIRLIFT performance kits for your vehicle, what comes in the kit, what to expect when you have a kit, and why you're paying so much for a kit. So watch the video, let us know what you guys think, and let's rock out those awesome comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's check it out. All right, so now that we're inside, let's take a look at some of the kit components. We are gonna run through the management, some of the compressors, talk about the tanks, the wiring harnesses, and essentially all the components you guys would use. So if you're new to air, not a problem. We're here to go through all that stuff with you, give you guys the lowdown. So what we're looking at today is the AIRLIFT 3P management. This is actually for my vehicle. I'm gonna toss this on my Volkswagen All-Track. Super excited, and I could not wait to actually open this stuff. So it's kind of a mini unboxing. We're gonna run through all the stuff, show you what's inside of it, but I already unboxed some of this stuff and looked at it because I was like a 3-year-old child on Christmas morning and could not wait when I got my air components. So let's take a look inside the 3P box here and see what we have going on. So first off, super cool packaging, the gloss black, matte black, I can't talk. Super cool stuff. So everything is all nestled nicely inside of here, as you can see. Here's our controller. Pull out the actual management, ECU, and I think that's it for that piece there. Set that aside. So if we unbox the actual controller, now this is the newest model that they have. There is V2, and essentially there is 3 different air managements and controllers that you can get. So this is 3P and 3H run off the same controller. We'll get into the details about that in just a minute. V2, Jared, one of our video guys here, actually has V2 on his vehicle. So we'll run outside and take a look at V2 compared to this controller and then see what the 2 differences are. Let's go check it out. So we're inside Jared's bag G35 right now. We're gonna take a look at the controller for 3P and 3H compared to the Autopilot V2 controller. So let's take a look at the 2 here. So if we look at the 3P controller, one of the pros about this one is you're gonna have a full color display on this one. You're gonna have all of your presets down the middle. This is all illuminated, more of kind of the iPod style, fits really great in your hand. Now, if you look at the V2 controller, it's just a little bit different style, a little bit older technology. This one is more of their recent style controller that they offer for the kits. This one's a little bit older, but just as functional and still performs great. So you're gonna be able to have 8 different user presets. So 4 across the top, 4 across the bottom. Now, one of the pros about the newer controller here for 3P is that you're not gonna have to do as many hold 2 buttons down, hold one button down here, hold another one down to cycle through functions and things. It's a little bit easier just to navigate on this controller, where because this one's a little bit older and the screen's smaller, you kind of have to rifle through the functions a little bit differently. And as opposed to the full color, this one is more of kind of an older LCD screen here. So you can see he has it kind of set to kind of more of like an oranger kind of color. So you can kind of change the intensity and the brightness just a little bit on this one to tweak it for your style. So if you need a little bit brighter or just a little bit different tint to kind of make sure that you can see that at night. The management for this one, the ECU and everything is just a little bit different. It's not quite the same as the newer updated model, but it's still gonna show you your tank pressure. You're gonna have all your different presets, different functions. It essentially does everything that this guy's gonna do. This is just gonna be a more recent version of it. So you can kind of see the size difference here. And then cool thing about this one is you can also run it horizontally if you need to. That's kind of the difference between the 2 controllers. Let's actually check out his setup in the back here. So he has just the standard end port tank from AIRLIFT Performance. This is the raw aluminum finish. He decided to do the wooden floor. And then back here, he has one of the chrome compressors. So that's just one single standard 444C. And then over here, you can actually see the ECU. So that is the V2 Autopilot AIRLIFT management right there. So you can see that one's a little bit different shape, a little bit different looking from the one that you get with 3P and 3H. And I have a Samsung phone, so just to give you kind of a size reference here, just a little bit thicker. You have your little cord that's gonna plug into the back, of course. They make all sorts of cool, crazy mounts and stuff like that for this thing. But you're gonna be able to run all your presets on here, all the different options and things like that. And essentially we'll end up doing a secondary video once all this stuff is installed. We'll run through some of the features inside the controller, what the management can do, all that kind of stuff. But just for a quick unboxing to give you guys a ballpark of what that can do. One of the coolest things about 3P and 3H, which is an advantage to getting above the V2 management, is what I'm going to do here is open up the application, and essentially these just connect via Bluetooth. So if you are running, whether you're running this off of your phone or the actual controller, these two sync to each other. So if you're at a car show and you want to stunt on everybody, you can simply press the buttons down, all of your presets, all of your PSI for all 4 bags, of course, will show here on the screen, just the same as they would across the actual digital controller. So really cool technology, just simply Bluetooth. Both of those are synced and they match in unison, so you can use either one, which is extremely cool. So that's what the application looks like. Now they do make the application for Apple and they do make it for Android, so whatever your phone preference is, you guys can certainly run either one. So that is pretty neat. And one thing that's really cool about all the AIRLIFT components, they're extremely well built, really nice quality stuff. I mean, this controller literally feels just as nice as like an old school iPod or like you're holding a phone. So really good quality stuff from these guys that you can expect. So now that we've kind of taken a look at that, what we'll do is we'll take a look at what's inside the actual box. So I decided to go with the 3/8 airlines. Now there's 2 different options. You can do 3/8 or you can do 1/4 inch. There is 1/2 inch line too, but primarily that's probably just for trucks and things like that. If you're running a sport compact car, you're gonna be running the 1/4 inch or the 3/8. So of course the 3/8 is the bigger, so the inner diameter here is a little bit larger to allow for more airflow to go through the piping and then into the bags. Now what's a pro of that? Super cool that your car is actually gonna air up a lot quicker. A lot of the people that I talk to that had the 1/4 inch lines, they're like, oh man, I wish I would have upgraded to the 3/8. My car, it rises and it dumps a little bit slower, so I wanted something that's gonna rise and lower a little bit quicker, so I decided to go with the bigger line. Cool thing about these kits, man, they're all plug and play, so you're gonna have all the toys, all the components, everything you need in here. So I don't wanna rip this open yet till I go installing it, but we'll get you a close up on it. So it's got the screws, fuses, hardware, zip ties, everything you need, butt connectors, all that stuff is all inside the kit here. Here is my water drain for the tank. Then here's your main compressor harness here. Now, the cool thing about the 3P kit, which we're looking at, this one you can always upgrade to the 3H. So a lot of people will go this route. Now, some of the pros and cons, once again, V2 is the most inexpensive. 3P is gonna offer the better controller. It's gonna air up quicker. It's got a lot better ECU on it. Same with 3H, that's just adding the height sensors. We'll talk about those in just a minute. But the cool thing is that if you start with 3P and you do want to go to 3H and you want some of the additional features with the height sensors, all you have to do is just get a different wiring harness, plug it into this bad boy here, and then you are ready to rock and roll. So super cool. And you got some stickers, of course, your installation instructions, all that kind of stuff. And they do actually get you a tubing cutter. So you can go ahead and cut your tubing, all that stuff's ready to rock and roll. So once again, the kits are made to be plug and play. The applications are for domestic cars, import cars, there's a ton of stuff. And whether you're looking on our website or if you're trying to reference the AIRLIFT website too to see what they make, you will notice that certain makes and models do, of course. There's different applications underneath those. Mazda, I want to say it's like Mazda 6, Mazda 3, Volkswagen, there's a whole ton of stuff. Audis, there's a whole ton of stuff. Honda's the same way. But some of the makes, there is not as many model applications and kits available for that stuff. So just something to be aware of, but we do carry just about as many kits as we can, and this stuff is on the Fitment Industries website. So now that we've kind of shown you guys what's inside the actual management kit here, let's take a look at compressors and we'll talk about those. Now, this is going to be one of those items where if you talk to a lot of your buddies, they're going to say different things. After doing a lot of research, I've found a lot of different things, and after talking to a lot of people, I got a lot of buddies on air, and it's kind of one of those things where you're going to see most people are running the 444C. That's what I have in front of me here. This is what I plan on running inside my all-track. So I decided to run duals, and of course the question that always comes up, run a single compressor or run duals. I decided to run duals after a lot of people, once again, that we've talked to doing spotlights last summer that had bag cars. Maybe if they were running a single compressor, they ran into, man, you know, my tank fills up kind of slower. If I want to air up and down a lot, I find that I have to wait. And of course, if you're running the 1/4-inch air line with a single compressor, that's kind of a smaller kit, if you will, so you're not gonna have as much airflow going. So with the dual compressors, you're gonna have 2 hooked up at all times. It's gonna pump way more air into that air tank. And then one thing to keep in mind too is that if one compressor fails, you do have a second as a backup. So you don't wanna be stuck out in the middle of freaking Timbuktu with one compressor, the thing craps out, you know, so at least you would have a secondary compressor to air yourself up, fill up that tank and get yourself back home. So if we take a look at the compressors, you're gonna see these come in a few different finishes. So you can either get the chrome finish, which is pretty cool. I've seen a ton of those, a lot of people rock them. I decided to do the matte black. I was kind of going for something a little bit stealthier. And then some of the leader lines you'll see are the braided stainless steel. This one here has a black leader line on it with the 1/4-inch fitting. So I will probably end up doing the isolation kit. I would highly recommend that. And what that does is that's gonna bolt underneath the air compressor. It's gonna pop it up with a little rubber grommet. And then when this thing is vibrating and shaking, doing its thing, when it's powered on, it's not gonna vibrate all that crap on your floor. It's not gonna be as loud. So definitely highly recommended. Mine's on order, I don't have it here, but I can show you guys in the next video that we do what that looks like. So one other thing to consider about compressors is there's a ton of them out there. Air makes an absolutely killer compressor. They're one of the main brands you're gonna see that comes with AIRLIFT performance. Now there's the 380, there's the 400, the 444C, the 480. What does all that stuff mean? Now each compressor, you're gonna see the duty cycle and all the information on the side of the little sticker here. Essentially what that means to you is bigger the compressor, more air that thing's gonna pump out. Now the 400 I heard is actually a little bit quicker than the 444C, but this one is a little bit smoother, a little bit quieter. So I decided to go with this one. I have a lot of buddies personally that run this compressor, so decided to go with the duals on this one. But if you're looking at different compressors and you see that there's different options within your kit, just know that typically most of the people are running the 400 or 444C. You can't go wrong. So it's a little bit larger compressor. The 380s, some of that stuff, they're just a little bit smaller. And of course, those are pumping out a little bit less air and they cannot be run as long, or I should say as long as a duty cycle as some of the larger ones. All right, so now that you got the management, you know what's going on with the compressors, what do you do for the air tank? So we are looking at a 4-gallon AIRLIFT tank here. This comes in 2 different finishes. You can get the raw aluminum finish or you can get the polished finish. So if you guys plan on maybe doing a custom paint job or powder coating the tank, I would say just go ahead and go with the raw, then your guy can spray on it whatever he wants to. So there's a few different styles of tanks that you can choose from. Most of these kits, you're gonna see they come with the end port tanks. So what that means to you guys is that all the inputs and everything for the compressor are all on the actual ends of the tank. So everything would just screw in here. Otherwise, they make a faceport tank. We'll drop a picture of that above. I decided to do that style because what I want to do is if you're facing and looking into my trunk, I want all this clean, maybe run a decal on it, and then everything else either plugs on the side, and then all my lines and everything else is gonna plug in and sit behind it, so everything sits a little bit cleaner. So there's a few different styles. Now, aside from the ones that are actually where you can bolt in like this, they're an end port or a faceport tank, you're also gonna have seamless tank options. So if you've seen some of the dudes that have them where they flip up their trunk, they're mounted up there, those are basically not gonna have the big brackets on here. And then those guys are just gonna run cylinder brackets on it, and then you can hang those and mount them as you please, do all sorts of crazy stuff with them. You have a drain on the bottom of the tank here. So a few different tank options. So if you see seamless, they almost kind of have a little more of kind of a tube style to the end of them too, a little bit different shape. But once again, 4-gallon and 5 gallons are primarily the ones that you're gonna see most people use. They make pancake tanks that are a little more of a cylinder, kind of smushed down. They make longer, thinner air tanks. There's all sorts of crazy stuff out there you can do. And it's kind of up to interpretation on what you want to do with this stuff. So essentially the management, you know, is one thing to consider, whether you want to run V2, 3P, or 3H. And then depending on tank size, you know, a lot of people are going to ask, you know, what size do I need for my car? Now, typically the tank that they're gonna offer you when you look on the website there is gonna be the tank that primarily you'd probably wanna use for your car. So most people, once again, 4 or 5 gallons should get you there. You should have plenty of air inside the tank to do what you need to do with your vehicle. There's 2 different kits that you can get. There's the Slam Series kit, which is a little more affordable. It's not as much money, but you will not actually get the camber plates on the top of this. Now, what are the camber plates gonna do? These are gonna allow for up to -3 degrees of camber. And I ran into this issue last year when I was trying to get the perfect fitment on my GLI. the camber is going to allow you to tilt these. These plates are going to move just a little bit, once again, up to -3 degrees, and allow you to ensure that proper fitment. So if you're really looking to dial in what you're doing, definitely go with the camber plates. These can be anywhere from $300 to $500 if you're looking aftermarket, if you were to buy a coilover setup. So if you're just to buy the plates, I think just through AIRLIFT, I want to say they're like $300 plates for these. So they do come with the Performance Series kit, and you can adjust everything right on top there. And what I want to show you guys too is inside the kit, once you unbox it, you're going to see some of the fittings, and then you're actually going to see the adjustable damping that does come with these struts. So the cool thing, it's a dual monotube shock. You screw in the adjustable damper here, just like coilovers. You can run clicks to the left or clicks to the right, and depending on your application and what you're looking to do with your car, if you want to just ride in style, comfort, just cruise around on the streets, you can turn those a little bit softer. It's going to allow for a lot better ride quality. You certainly can take this to the track. You would just tighten those things up. It's going to offer a little bit stiffer ride, of course, but then you can really get your stuff dialed in. So that's super cool. Just pop those into the top. Now the actual bag itself, once again, you can run these things through the winter, beat the hell out of them. The actual strut and the collar and everything itself here, I want to show you guys. So that you can actually, there's 3 inches of available thread on here. So if we take a look at that, they're spot on, there's 3 inches. So you can adjust those, get yourself dialed in exactly where you need to. So once you get everything and you get the kit installed, you can make sure that if you need to go up a little bit higher or dump your car a little bit lower, you can really get that stuff dialed in with the collars. And just like coilovers, of course, they come with the spanner wrenches. Those are inside the kit here. Go ahead and turn those things over. Now, cool thing about the AIRLIFT Performance kits, everything it's bolt-on. So you just bolt this stuff right up. So the actual tops and the bottoms of these are all specific to whatever vehicle that you get. So depending on how the attachment is for your car, for your suspension components, you're gonna know that that is just an absolute bolt-on kit. Run your stuff through there almost as if you would be installing a set of coilovers. So definitely super cool. Great warranty on this stuff, and the warranty actually is 1 year on all the components. If anything breaks in the kit, they're gonna cover it for you. And then actually, there is a limited lifetime warranty on the actual box itself, the ECU box, on 3P and 3H. So as long as you're not doing anything crazy, if this were to fail, they will cover this for you under a limited lifetime warranty as well. So just food for thought. So this, of course, is the front kit. Let me dig out the rears and we'll take a look at that. All right, so now that we have the rear unboxed, here's what the rear of the WRX kit looks like. And actually, let me grab one side by side just so you guys can see. So front and rear, just to give you an idea. So of course, the rears, depending on what your application is, once again, you may see bags that look like this. You may see bags that look like this for the rear. So what comes inside the kit? In the rear section, so you of course have the strut, you have the bag, the adjustability on the collars just like the front. You have the braided stainless steel line. Here's all your fittings. And once again, you're gonna see the little damper screws that are gonna pop right into the top of that. And then cool thing for the rear, you can buy these individually or in case you need them, if you find that you need them, they didn't come with your kit. But if AIRLIFT sees that you do need these for your kit, these are actually damper extenders, and these are gonna pop right on the top. They're gonna give you an extra couple inches to pop up through the strut housing there in case you need to reach down and adjust the dampening on there. So they thought of a lot of little things like that, because I know I've had some issues with that with coilovers and stuff like that in the past. You know, you're trying to get a little wrench in there and get the weird angle and get that stuff spot on. So definitely cool that they give you the little extenders. So once again, solid components, excellent build quality from these things. And the Performance Series, of course, has their signature anodized red look to it. Nice thick bags, really good components on this stuff. Once again, the rest of your fittings, stickers, directions, all that fun stuff. So that is what you're going to see in the rear kit. Now let's cover some of the other things that you may run into. So keep in mind that this is a bolt-on kit, but it's one of those things that AIRLIFT, of course, is gonna solve a lot of problems for you, like getting up the steep driveways, going over the stupid, crappy, obnoxious speed bumps, all that kind of stuff. But you will run into issues eventually down the road. Now, I don't want to discourage anybody from buying a kit. I already knew the stuff going into it, but I have seen buddies blow bags, have issues with them. And it's one of those things that you just have to be ready for things to happen. When they say blow a bag, you literally can crack the bag. Of course, there's other issues where maybe the compressors go out. maybe issues with the management, things like that. So it's just something to keep in mind that you may run into some issues. There's a ton of, you can buy all the little pieces, the extra fittings, the pipe fittings, the leader lines, all this stuff. You can get all the components, so don't freak out. If something happens, you can certainly do that. And you actually can use diagnostics with the system in case you want to self-check and see if there's anything wrong. The system will actually click and let you know if it's a tank problem, a compressor problem, a controller problem, all that kind of stuff, so you can cruise through there. And of course, there's all sorts of cool settings on the controller. You can pop it to, as soon as you start the vehicle, it'll pop right up. We'll show you that on Jared's car, but all sorts of cool features. So if you guys are looking to bag your car, definitely do it. Everyone's doing it. It's one of the hottest things you can do right now. If you have any questions, let us know. Hope we covered everything. We'll probably do a version 2 of this, go a little more in depth, and we will do an install video once I install this stuff on my all-track. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you guys have any questions. Drop them in the comment box below. I'm Andrew. Catch you guys later. Peace.